Yo, what's going on? So, I just found out about the passing of Gangsta Boo. You know, for those that are not familiar with Gangsta Boo, she's a female rapper, based out of Memphis, Tennessee. She was affiliated with 3 6 Mafia, and she put out albums, hits. I think it was in like the mid late 90s. Even though I wasn't a fan of her work, I still was a fan. I'm still was a fan of her, her personality. You know what I'm saying? Whenever I'm not gonna say I looked at every interview that she did on YouTube, but I've seen quite a few of the interviews that she's done on YouTube, and she had a very likable personality. And it's a shame that she passed away. Now, it's rumored that she passed away because of an overdose or whatever. We don't know that to be factual. I guess in the near future we'll find out what actually happened to her. May she rest in peace. And then we have this football player, that just passed out, during the Buffalo Bills and Cincinnati Bengals game. Hamlin, I think that's his last name. Young, 24 years old. So Gangsta Boo was I think 42, and then you have this young man, 24 years old, just passed out. He suffered a cardiac arrest, and now he's still in critical condition, and we don't know, whether he's gonna come out of it or not. He's basically fighting for his life, and it's one thing that I've learned in life. You know what I'm saying? A lot of young people tend to talk about, us quote unquote old heads, and they'll laugh and joke and talk about how we're old and we don't know this and this and that, so forth. We're washed up and blah 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 blah. But let me tell you something, man. Here you have a 24-year-old fighting for his life. You know what I'm saying? Fighting for his life. Here you have all of these rappers that are in their 20s that have passed away. So the moral of this story is that no matter what age you are, whether you're 42, you know what I'm saying, an older, person, such as Gangsta Boo, or 24 years old, such as the football player, and I hope that he makes it out of this. The reality of it is death has no number. And at the end of the day, every time you open your eyes, straight up, every time you get up in the morning, you have to think that this is your last day on the planet called Earth. This is a reality. This is something that I didn't understand. This is something that I didn't comprehend, and this is just overall. Nobody told me that at 20, you can actually die. Nobody really taught me the urgency to life. That no one's promised tomorrow, and we always plan for those that are wise. We always plan 5 to 10 to 20 years ahead of time, but we don't really know if we're gonna make it that far. This is the reason why it's imperative that you focus on what you have to do and get it done today. Real talk. Because people are passing away every day. And it doesn't make a difference whether you're young or old. Death has no number. None. Just the other day here in Charlotte, North Carolina, I think a 16, 17-year-old got shot and killed. Now just imagine, I don't know him. I don't know that person, but just for an example, just imagine if he was going around saying, oh yeah, you old heads and this and that, so forth. And then he passes away at 17 years old. He making a mockery, a joke of someone that's in their 40s and 50s that have lived their life and continue to live their life. I'm glad. In other words, what I'm saying to all you young people out there, I'm glad that I am older, because I made it. I was one of the ones that made it. And if if so happened, you know what I'm saying, I close my eyes for the last time tonight, I can say I lived a decent life. Can you say the same? 24 years old, that young man is. That's in critical condition. 24 years old. I can't even imagine being in critical condition when I was 24 years old. Straight up. He has his whole life ahead of him. And it's a possibility that he may not make it. And no one wants to deal with that reality. Everybody has this mentality like they're Superman, especially when you're younger. Like as if, you know what I'm saying, you can't be broken. Or as if you can't, you know what I'm saying, die. I know because I used to have that same type of mentality. And this is the reason why I'm paying for it today. And what I mean by paying for it is that at the end of the day, yo, smoking cigarettes, smoking weed, drinking and doing all types of the shit that I did back in the days. I'm not saying it's caught up to me, because I did a lot of shit. But not as much as like, you know, alcoholic. You know, I was alcoholic briefly, you know what I'm saying? But I wasn't like an alcoholic for 7, 8, 9, 10 years. But I'm paying for it. In other words, that it's no telling if let's just look at it like this. What if I never smoked cigarettes? What if I never drunk? What if I never smoked a Black and Mild and weed or any of that? Just think about the type of health that I would have right about now. But who knows? I know I'm in the gym and I'm busting my ass to maintain optimum health. See, you out there, you young people out there, you have the time to make that change if you are headed down that rocky road as far as dealing with drugs. You have the time to make that change. And I don't mean like, oh, well, you know what, I'll wait about 5, 6 years. No, I'm talking about now. The older you get, let me tell you something, the more you get set in your ways. And when you get up in your late 30s, 40s, 50s, for some, there's no turning back. Either you change, you make a difference in your life now, or you don't. That's real talk. I used to wonder why, you know what I'm saying, I had uncles and, you know, aunts and stuff like that, you know, that really, you know, they just didn't mind being fat. They didn't mind having pot bellies and shit like that. Well, let me tell you, for real, this is, I don't wonder anymore. I know you reach a threshold in your life and you say, you know what, either I'm going to make a change and put forth effort, and that effort is, yo, man, let me tell you something, being real with you, it's hard, pause. Or I just accept who and what I am right now. And I do I live the basic life in order that I don't have to do any extras. So it's the acceptance part. Most people have accepted their fate. Most people have accepted being a certain type of way. Whether it's taking pills, you know, or getting insulin injected into your arm because you're diabetic. Most people have accepted that. They don't want to change. They don't want to change their diet. They don't want to exercise. They don't want to do none of that shit. The easy route is, hey, listen, I'll just go to the hospital. I'll get some pills. I'll pop some pills. I'll take my insulin and all the rest of that shit. Because I don't want to do anything extra. I'm telling you, young folks, for real, this is my word. You talk shit about the old, about how well, you young, you old, and I wouldn't do this and I wouldn't do that. And let me tell you something, you gonna eat them fucking words when you get older. That's real talk. I never forget this. This is my word. This is a testimony like a motherfucker. Watch this. Or rather, listen to this. Years ago, I used to sell bootleg movies and CDs. I know some of you all are too young to know what the hell a CD or a bootleg tapes or VHS tapes, right? You don't know what they are, just look them up. You know, Google it. Anyway, I used to sell bootleg movies and CDs, right? And in front of this Chinese food restaurant, and it was like half and half. Half of my table was in front of the one half of my table was in front of the Chinese food restaurant, and the other half was in front of a beauty salon store, right? And where they sell, yaki, weave, and shit like that. So, black people used to go order Chinese food, and the women used to get their 2B yaki, and men used to go in there too. You can get your brushes, your wave brushes, texturizers, all the rest of that shit, right? So I got into a little altercation. It wasn't no big thing, you know what I'm saying? It was like the 16-year-old girl, she came up to the table and she was just picking up CDs and shit, and she wasn't even buying anything, right? So I got real annoyed because she was just messing up the damn table. And I'm all about order, you know what I'm saying? So I was like, yo, man, I don't mean no disrespect, but if you're not gonna buy anything, could you stop touching my merchandise? She's like, forget you, this and that and so forth. That's why you ain't gonna be nothing. You ain't nothing but a bootleg man, you know what I'm saying? And I'm gonna be this and I'm gonna be that and this and that and so forth. And let me tell you something. She was 16. So unfortunately, I was out there for about an extra 2 to 3 years after, that situation, right? So my last year being out there, right? Never forget it. This bitch walked past me and she was pregnant. Now this same broad that said, I'm gonna be this, I'm gonna be that, I'm gonna do this and I'm gonna do that, and da 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 da, and you ain't nobody and this and that and so forth, come to find out she was pregnant with kid. No baby daddy. What I mean by no baby daddy, the baby daddy wasn't around. I seen her after the fact, after that. She eventually had the child or whatever, and she lived a typical goddamn life. I don't know where she's at right now, but she was like 18 years old when she got pregnant. All these dreams about, I'm gonna go to school, I'm gonna go to college, talking all that shit to me. You ain't gonna be nobody, and I'm gonna go to college, I'm gonna make all this money and this and that, so forth. I'm gonna drive the fancy cars, da 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 da. This broad got pregnant. Same thing that can happen to you. You can sit here and talk shit about older people. You can talk about how you ain't gonna be this, and you ain't gonna be this way, you ain't gonna be like us old heads and the rest of that shit, and you might be worse than us when you grow up. Straight up. Life is not promised tomorrow. It really isn't. And I wish somebody told me that. For real, I wish somebody drilled that in my head. That if you got dreams and aspirations, you might as well make them dreams come true today. For real. It's an urgency when it comes to life. And this is the reason why you see people, like walking around and living the way that they living, which is fucked up. Because most people don't believe that there's an urgency to life. Most people think, oh man, I'll do that tomorrow. Or I'll do that next week. I'll do that next month. We're always pushing shit to the side. Straight up. And just imagine if Gangsta Boo was that way. If she pushed her career to the side and she said, I later for that. All the way up to 42 years old, and then her last day on earth, she decided, I'm gonna go ahead and pursue this rap career. And boom, now you're gone. At least with Gangsta Boo, yes, she died young, but at least with her, she got to live out her dreams. She fulfilled her destiny. If that was her destiny, if she was destined to be a female rapper. Most people don't live out their dreams. They don't fulfill their destiny. Straight up. You know how many people live and die a regular fucking life? Straight up. That man that's in critical condition, that played for the Buffalo Bills, if he doesn't make it, straight up, I'm pretty sure that he didn't want, I think in his mind, I'm pretty sure that he didn't want to die this young. But he died living out his dreams. That's real talk. Football is a dangerous sport. It really is. And he knew the consequences. He knew that it's a potentially that, you know what I'm saying, you can get injured. Anytime you play a fucking sport where you got shoulder pads on and a goddamn helmet on, that ought to tell you that, yo, that sport is dangerous. But at least he got to live out his dreams. What about you? It's a reality. Because some young people will talk shit, you know, to the old. And my thing is this. Okay, you got youth over me. You're younger than me. Okay, cool. What else do you have over me? Because I can tell you, I'm probably way more established than the average young person is. Real talk. And if you don't have your mind right, youth, young age don't mean shit. You could blow your motherfucking, all of them, those younger years away. I know, because I did it. I blew my 20s away. Real talk. So I'd rather be the age that I am, because with the age that I am, well, I'll say at least me, because you know you do have old fools, but the age that I am comes the positive with it, wisdom. Straight up. So very rarely, I mean, you know, very rare. It's very rare that I make mistakes in life. Yeah, true indeed. I've made mistakes in my past, and even in my present, you know, but not so much in my present as I did in the past. Because what happens is when you get older, if you're wise, if you have wisdom, you do what? You learn from your mistakes. You learn not to make the same mistake, for an example, twice. That's real talk. If anything is to come out of this that's positive, as far as dealing with Gangsta Boo incident, the Buffalo Bills football player that's in critical condition, I could go on with other rappers that have passed away. A lot of entertainers are passing away. Matter of fact, there are a lot of people that are dying, man. For real. Dying. You know what I mean? If it's anything that you should learn out of this situation, is no one is promised tomorrow. And that you got to give it all you got today. You know what I'm saying? Because you just don't know. You know, I can get in this car. Well, I'm in this car. I can drive off and get on the highway, right? Here in Charlotte, we got 485. Get on 485, and I could be the most safest driver on the planet. But when it's your time to go, that really don't kind of matter. You know what I'm saying? It could be trucks on. It could be a couple of trucks on the highway, and they may stop, hit their brakes, and I hit my brakes, and I avoided hitting that truck in the front of me. But what about this one behind me? Or what about this one on the left, on the right-hand side? You know what I'm saying? And then, for example, something happens to me and I'm out of here. I know I'm dead, but for an example, can I reflect back and look at my past and say, hey, you know what? I might have died, you know, premature, you know what I'm saying? But did I live a decent life? Did I achieve some of the goals that I set out? You know what I'm saying? For myself. Did I love my family? You know, was I an humanitarian? Did I help people? You know? So that's what you got to think about, man. You know, to all our fallen soldiers, rappers, regular, typical people, you know, work a 9 to 5, but, you know, just, they're not here to hurt nobody. You know, those that pass away, may they rest in peace. You know, it's the truth though, you know, the youth are our future. And we have to definitely, you know, have these type of conversations, you know, more in order to push and motivate the youth to be the best that they can be. Not tomorrow, not next week, not next month, not next year. Now. Other than that, my name is Langston2092. I want you to like, comment, subscribe. Definitely share this video. Peace.